Ladies and gents, welcome back. Holy cow, it's been a whole week. already again. I mean, I say this every single week. The weeks have been flying by like crazy, and it's no wonder. There's just so much happening. There's absolutely so much happening. And you know, when you're working every day and then you're reporting on news in the early morning and then also in the evening and raising a family and all this stuff, it just, whoa, time flies. It's crazy. It really is. Let's bring the chat in. Come on in, chat. Come on in. Welcome to the Friday live stream. This is a special stream that we do once a week, and it's a lot of fun. And I hope you brought your Wobbly Pops along. I know I did. I'm gonna get into this one myself. I hope you guys are getting into yours. I see a lot of people entering. Well, you come in the room, hit that like button on your way in, and then just sit down, relax, maybe grab your keyboard, chill by the sofa, whatever you got to do. Have a wobbly pop and your keyboard, and let's hang out. I had someone asking on Twitter, are you going to be answering questions? Absolutely. Tonight is the night that I hang out with the chat. This is my night with you guys, and it's a lot of fun. Actually, I have a lot of fun on these live streams because the pressure is off. I mean, the pressure is way off. It's more about just chilling with. There you go. Hi, Clydesters. How you doing? Utaka in the chat. I got North 49 RC. We've got a bunch of our moderators in here. So behave, everyone, or else that'll happen. No, that's retracted. No, that wasn't a moderator that did that. But hey, welcome in. Behave yourselves, and we'll all have a great time. Let me wet my whistle. Hi, Clyde. Dean here. Met you in Calgary. Nice to see you, Dean. Awesome to have you. Good evening, Clyde. Good evening, North 49 RC. Thanks for being in here. Keeping an eye on the chat. RudyCast in there too. We're gonna be doing a podcast together soon. If you're not subscribed already to RudyCast channel, hit the little three little dots on the side there. It says go to channel. You can subscribe to that channel and make sure you don't miss that. Hit that notification bell. Let you know when we're doing that. Do not block me, please, he says. Of course we won't. Behave yourself, though. You got to in this chat. So keep your swears to a minimum. I always do. And you know what? I do that for a good reason. I'm a dad, and a lot of times I'm consuming content, I'm listening to the news, I'm listening to all kinds of things, and my kids will be in and around the area all times. I mean, if I'm at home, the kids are coming in, they're talking to me, they're hearing all the stuff that I'm hearing. And if I'm watching a video and it's just F-bomb, I gotta turn it off. So I make the kind of videos that I would like to consume myself. So that's the point here. That's the MO, and that's the idea. If you're new to the channel, by the way, this is the Clyde Do Something channel. We do news, politics, philosophy, all kinds of things. We were just talking about current day issues every day. Early in the morning. I wake up super early in the morning. Maybe it's not so early if you're on the East Coast, but I wake up super early in the morning. Before I go to work, I gather the stories that I think are pertinent to what's happening in the moment, and then I post them out. I post them out there, and I just let them simmer for the day, and then come back to it in the evening after I've worked a whole day pulling wrenches, and I come back to that. Every day, we do streams Wednesdays and Fridays. Wednesday is the Marty and Clyde show, which is a live show, but it's also, if you want to be part of the Q&A, join us on Wednesdays. If you want to just watch the show, it comes up Thursday mornings, and then we do this live show. This is when I get to catch up with the chat. I get to talk about some of the things that I wanted to talk about in videos, but maybe at more length. It's kind of hard to shove everything into 10 minutes in a video. So that's the way we do it. Granite Man with the $2 super chat says Canada can't win battle with USA. They're 15 times their GDP. Well, we're gonna get into that. We are gonna get into that because this is it's obnoxious what's happening at the moment. You think it would have been a simple solution, but we don't have simple people. Well, I mean, I guess they are simple, but yeah, they're very convoluted people that don't see the world the way the world actually is. And the world isn't usually all that complicated generally. I mean, the world's a chaotic place. There's all kinds of things happening all over the place. But, you know, Occam's razor, you know, the simplest solution is usually the solution. It's the simplest thing. The simplest approach is usually the answer to the problem. And it has really been this case with the Trump tariffs. And the Trump tariffs are, you might as well call them the Trump sanctions. I mean, really, that's what it is. It's a sanction for bad behavior. And that's where we are. We are simply people. I mean, simple people, not simply people. We're all simply people. That's right. Don't get too full of yourselves. That is too easy to happen. I've seen it time and time again. So go touch grass if you have to. If it really is a thing that you must do sometimes, to get out there and go touch grass. Now, where do I even start? Where do I even start with this stuff? I can start with this. Because what a night, what a week it's been. You know what's crazy is so I've been doing these shorts with the content that I do with Marty, and some of the things that are going on, but the stories keep changing so quickly that sometimes the little blurbs that I wanted to put in as a short, by the time I get around to editing them, they're already irrelevant. This is how fast the news cycle has been going. Granite Man for $2 says Trump has stick and puck, we have goalie no pads. Yeah, and he's got an open rink. He's got an open rink. We've got no defense. We have no defense in this situation. So we're gonna get into this. Really liked your collaboration with Jasmine. Thank you so much. Speaking of, hold on a second. I want to be able to read this chat a lot better. So I'm gonna pop this up in a way where not only my nearsightedness, but also my dyslexia can be totally in a better light. That is so much better. Holy cow. Wow. I can see you guys now. I can see the chat anyway. And I can see what's happening. So let's get more into this. Jasmine is awesome. Jasmine is awesome. So Jasmine, it was the first time I got to speak with Jasmine yesterday. I've seen her show. I've watched it a bunch. She's super professional, like unbelievably professional. I was telling her yesterday, the first time I saw her channel and she popped up, I was like, who's this like person overnight? Shows up on the scene in Canadian news and politics and super polished. I went down into the description to find the line that says like, this is a Daily Wired production or something like that. No, this is all her. It's all her. She's just that good. Like, it's amazing. So, you know, kudos to her. She's doing such a bang up job. And then when she got in touch with me, she said, oh, thanks for giving me a shout out on your live stream, which I did last week. And I think the week before. And she just reached out to say thanks. And I said, we should do a show together. Let's do this. And it just happened. It happened just like that. North 49 RC with a $5 super chat says, it was good to see you had Jasmine on your show. You guys have political chemistry. Yes. I mean, we're both commentators, and I mean, she's pro. Holy cow, she's pro. So yeah, I've got a lot to look up to her and her film production quality and all that stuff. I think she's killing it. She's like out of the park, really. Nothing but good things to say. And then having met her, she's a fantastic person. Like, I just like wholesome, very nice, generally great person to speak to. And she's very smart. She's coming from a position of knowing what the heck she's talking about. So I definitely appreciate that. Rare 1AB, I think that's AB for Alberta, with a $5 super chat says, NDP Liberal WEF post national state or Trump or Canadian American alliance. Trump could cut off our tariff line 5 and line 9 thanks to no Canada East pipeline. There's a lot that he could do. There's a ton that he can do, and there's not a lot that we can do about it, really, at the end of the day. But why would we want to do something about it? Like, really? At the end of it, why? And we're going to get into that stuff. Jasmine is very wise. Yes, she is. She is, absolutely. So I look forward to having future conversations with her because she's just fantastic. Hi from the snowy Okanagan. Is it snowy right now? It's about to get snowy out here. I saw the forecast and I'm not excited. I'm a mechanic, right? So when it snows, it just means like, oh, great. So that's like another hour before I can get to work, and it rains on me all day. It's like, get your hoodie up. Don't look up. because you know, if you don't have the hoodie on, it's snow dripping down the back of your shirt. If you look up, it's snow dripping down the front of your shirt. So that's it's just the reality of being a mechanic in the wet coast. Snowy in Ontario is what? Yeah, I bet. Oh man, peace from Northern Ontario, brother. I was born in Northern Ontario. That's my country. That's my country. My heart's with you, man. Absolutely. The wet coast. That's what we are. We are the wet coast. Yeah, and I don't think you'll ever get used to it. Like you never quite. I guess if you're not from here, which I'm not originally, you never quite get used to the fact that it's cloudy, dreary, rainy for most of the year. It really is something on that. Celtic Canuck made a video on the point of the 51st state and how a lot of us are supporting it, being we are sick of the state of affairs now. Yeah, that's an excellent point. Yeah, lots of people are fed up with it. And, you know, it's an interesting one because here I am again. I've said this a bunch of times, but sometimes there's new people in the crowd. I'm a dual citizen of Canada and the United States. My dad's American, my mom's Scottish, and she emigrated to Canada when she was very, very young. So I've always lived in border towns. I've lived in the United States as a kid, and we've always been back and forth, and it's always been this like cultural share. Like I share a lot with Canadian culture, but I also share a lot with American culture. And I can't bring myself to pick a side. And if anything, I think the Canadians, like the Canadian government, is being ridiculous. It's just out to lunch. But, you know, what do you do in this scenario, right? I'm a dual citizen with the United States too, says Justin Trudeau. I'm guessing that's not your real name, but that's the thing. Easy Joe for $5 says, do you think it's possible people in mass quit their jobs if we can't make enough to survive, or going past a breaking point? I'm curious on your take. So this is an interesting one because so I've been working for the auto garage. I work in an independent auto garage in British Columbia, and I've been working at that shop on and off for a lot of years. So I was there for a bunch of years, and then I left to do bigger and brighter things. I ended up coming back because I like that shop better than the other places I ended up going to. So and I really like the guy who owns the place, and we don't see the world as like I'm an employee and you're the boss and that kind of scenario. We look at each other as like colleagues. You know, I provide a service that he, you know, facilitates at his auto garage, right? He hires the service writers to take care of the writing of work orders and getting clientele. I have my own clientele that come to the shop as well, and we work together on this. It's a joint effort, right? It's a joint effort. And Rogers, stop calling me. They won't stop. But where was I? So yeah, it's like a joint venture. Now, when people come to me and they say, okay, well, we're going to do this mass walkout on businesses, I feel like, why would I punish the guy who I've been working with all this time? Like, it's not his fault. He didn't do anything wrong. Why would I walk out on him? So that's a hard one for me. Like, I understand if you work for the government, yeah, walk out, get out of there. Of course, most of the government, I would hope, to be honest, and sorry if you work for the government, but we should not have those jobs as government work anyway. Most of it. Like, I'm talking most of it. So, yeah, I know we want to make a statement, we want to make a point, but I don't know if that's the statement or the point that will do any good. It'll only hurt the people that are working hard around us to actually provide, you know, employment and all these other things. So I think it would be something to maybe regroup, come up with a new plan, that kind of thing. So Granite Man for 2 says, Carney becomes PM with no seat in Parliament. Bull. Well, that's a possibility. Absolutely is a possibility. You have to consider that. We're gonna get into that. Jackass Whiskey and Pinto Beans for 5 says, I find conservative women very alluring, as I thought, as I like thought. Their intelligence and wit sharpens from having to defend their ideas from attacks. Sure, yeah. I mean, lots of dudes are looking for based women, let me tell you. And that's been a rare find in North America. Do we start a dating service in our community? I'm sure there's some single ladies in the chat here that would like to find a based dude while they're at it. You know what I mean? So there's yeah, like it's not. Yeah, go to church. There you go. You'll find based women at church. That's the right place to look. I didn't even think of that. That's not where I found my wife, but my wife is absolutely based, and we're very happy together, and that's the way it's gonna be forever and ever. Amen. So yeah, based women, based partners. You know, you're a woman, find a based dude. That's where you want to be. Cody, member for 30 months. Says 30 months. Gosh darn. I try not to say that stuff either. I know people get offended by that, so I'm not gonna read that. 30 months. Any word on the legal battle on prorogation? None yet, actually. Why don't I look that up? The guy who would have said something would have been James Manson. So let me search him up real quick. James Manson. Any updates? January 18th? No. The latest he's tweeted was on the 22nd. He appeared on a news show. No, so we have no updates on that. If anyone would have updated, it would have been him, absolutely. Celebrating their 10th super chat on the live stream. Whoa, rare one. Alberta with a $10 super chat says, Alberta has always been fighting for Canada. Our prosperity is Canada's prosperity. It's Eastern Canada that fails us all and then has the nerve to label us traitors. But best wishes on Texas, my man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And there's a lot of truth to what you're saying here. So Alberta, how do you go and say it? Like, there should be equality between the provinces. And this is why I actually advocate for the balkanization of Canada. And this may be the catalyst to start that process. And it may take years, who knows. But I advocate for the balkanization of Canada. Split up the provinces. They should be their own entities. It's written that way in the beginning. It was always written that way. But this experiment that we've been having with our federal government is not working. It's not working. It's a absolutely dysfunctional relationship. And what would any therapist say to you if you were in a relationship that was so one-sided and so dysfunctional? They would say, leave that partnership. Leave it. And I totally agree with that. I've felt this way about Quebec for a long time, and this is no slight on Quebecers and Quebec and any of this stuff. I just think that Quebec would be a better neighbor than a better partner. Tell me if I'm wrong on this. And again, no slight. I hope Quebec does well. I really do. I hope all of our neighbors do well. I hope just like on your block, you don't hope that your immediate neighbors are doing terrible. No, you would hope that everybody does well, because then everybody's doing well. Then, standard of living goes way up. That's the way we should be. But, with the way things go with the transfer payments, what's written in the transfer payments, like Quebec basically is sitting on a stockpile of minerals and resources that if the transfer payments didn't exist and this deal with Canada didn't exist, they would utilize, and then the world would have those on the market, right? But no, because of the deal that we have, they're sitting on those and collecting a paycheck from Alberta, which the Albertans do not appreciate, not one bit. So, I mean, it's dysfunctional, and I really think that the best method to move forward would be a peaceful separation, and then come in for talks about like, oh well, we would like to have some treaty amongst the different provinces, even like a federal government of sorts, but on equal footing. That would be something that people could look into. I wish my neighbor would get made. Come on, Sarah. Nah, don't say that. Don't say that. Granite Man for 2 says Ebby and Ford talk tough. Shut up, Smith and Mo. A-OK. Yeah, they're great. Paula Park for 279. This is an abusing I think I'm reading it wrong. This is an abusing relationship with our government. Dyslexic, so if there's the words in the wrong order, it just whoop. It's out to lunch for me, so sorry about that. Reading typos is really difficult. Thank you, Paula Park. I really appreciate that. But yeah, this is where it goes. Why does Alberta do the work and pay the others who do nothing to contribute? Because that's how this is how the system was laid out. And the world works in incentives. Like if the incentives are there for people to not do something and reap the benefits, they'll not do something and reap the benefits. I mean, that's just the way things work. And thank you, Paula Park. Abusive. I really appreciate that. Thank you. That killed me. Typos, I don't know what it is. Like I read things all really weird. It takes a lot of concentration to dejumble the text as it comes in. Have you ever seen those like seeing eye pictures where you got to kind of cross your eyes funny to make the picture come together? That's how a wall of text looks like for me. So it's quite the concentration to make things happen. So thanks for bearing with me though. Seriously. Big D with a $10 super chat saying, I find it funny that the Liberals liked using the carbon tax as punitive means to affect change in behavior, but find Trump's tariffs unreasonable. Clowns. That is such a great point that, I mean, that deserves a cheers, my man. That is such a good, amazing point. That yeah, it was punitive for behavior. And what are they doing? They're denying. They're what are they? Border deniers? Can we start calling them border deniers? You're a climate denier if you don't like a carbon tax. They're just border deniers. They're crime deniers. You're denying that there's crime, that crime exists. Crime has been changing over time, and there is a clear cause for the increases in crime in Canada. We could take all of their global warming points and shove it right back at them with this crime deniership. That's the thing. Wow, there's too many X's in that name for me to make sense of that. I'm gonna try though. What is that? Zolthrasian. I hope I got that right. Zolthrasian. Thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Very generous of you. Alberta for the 51st state. You gotta hold on. It's moving fast. You get to design the state constitution, Canada style healthcare ? Texas gun laws, Alaska oil royalties, unfettered access to U.S. markets. The U.S. becomes energy independent for 30 generations. Yeah, I mean, it would actually be a no-brainer for Alberta to head on over to the United States and say, you know what, we're going to separate and we're going to unilaterally do this 51st state thing. Forget the rest of Canada. In fact, I've said this a bunch of times that I think that Americans would actually welcome that. The Americans do not want another California. They would like a mini Texas. That would be fantastic. They'd be super keen on that one. But they don't want another California. So the entire voter bloc of Canada, I don't think would be super keen on that one at all. But I think it it would be something else. And I'm sure Albertans would be very happy to have, constitutional carry law, as you're referring to as Texas gun laws. So constitutional carry is the idea that you don't need a permit if you want to have concealed carry. There are restrictions. There are restrictions to that in Texas even. So if you want to carry a firearm into like a school or something like that, you do have to have a concealed permit. They do allow for that in those schools. It depends on the institution, those things. But yeah, it's way better than what we've got going on here in Canada. Thank you so much. Even though I could barely pronounce it, tell me in the chat if I even came close to the pronunciation of your screen handle. That's unreal. Paula Park for 279 says, I understand my daughter is dyslexic. It's a struggle. But you get through it. It's just wow. And it comes in waves too. Some days it just seems worse than other days. Oh yeah, house prices 50% down. That would be nice too. I don't think the people who own houses would be happy about the prices of houses coming down 50%. Let's just say that. And this is what's propping the market up, and this is why the Liberals won't let it fail, because then it's a giant failure on their watch. They'll never come back as a party. I'm seriously doubtful that they ever will, as it stands yet. Prep Rebel. I can't read the rest of the name. I'm gonna have to. Prep Rebel Actual. I don't know why it didn't show me the whole thing at first. That's really weird. So Prep Rebel Actual with a 27.99 super chat. The chat seemed to be getting more and more generous as we're going through the night. Thank you so much. Says, why is it that the Liberals think that they can screw everyone and get away with it? Just ask it. Because they've been doing that for 9 years. And every time they fail at a thing that they do, they kind of fail up. It seems that way. The courts don't uphold decisions. We just saw a court case in, I think it was in British Columbia, that devastating. Suing over COVID restrictions. Yeah, it was British Columbia. So 3 people suing the government. There's so many devastating things. They've been able to get away with so much. Why not? Why not just keep going? So that would be why. They are at this point literally untouchable until we prove them otherwise. I mean, so were the French aristocrats. Let's hope it doesn't go that way. For them, or hoping for them even. If anything, I'd like to see justice. I'd like to see I'd like to see people go behind bars for crimes that they've committed and go through. I would want to afford every one of them the same justice that we should be afforded. Let's just say that. And I'm not saying that we believe that we should be afforded. If they're guilty, they should be found guilty. Daifechu with $5 says, Clyde, can you sing to us again? Tell me lies. Tell me sweet little lies. That's gonna be oh man. Now I'm gonna save it because I know you love it so much. I'm gonna hang on to that one. I need to have something happen on you guys. Easy Joe saying we would need as low capital gains on stocks like the U.S. if we want to expand just as fast. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Not just capital gains on low capital gains tax, but we need a lower corporate tax rate. That was what Canada was enticing about for the longest time. We had a lower corporate tax rate than the United States. That was a thing. And I remember this. I remember Canadians griping that Republicans would try to lower the corporate tax rate. And I said, do you even know what the corporate tax rate in Canada is? At the time, it was like way lower. It's crazy. So yeah, no, this is how you entice people in. You don't give them handouts and money. They'll just take that and run with it, as we saw with Solaris. Great, thanks. Thanks. We gave you all that taxpayer money. And then you ran off to the United States to build the factory, to build Hellcats. Great. No, we entice them in with low tax rates and good infrastructure and geography, that kind of thing. Easy Joe for 2 saying, I'd love cheaper stock taxes so I could do them. Yeah. Like not paying the capital gains. Exactly. Like you brought up just a minute ago. I agree with you. I totally agree. Rare One Alberta for 5 says, Alberta pays equalization payments on oil and gas. Why doesn't Quebec's electricity sales get calculated? Quebec has been the true enemy from within from day one. And man, I mean, without being like a pick on Quebec stream tonight, it's very true. And this is why I keep saying, and I'm gonna keep saying this, Quebec would be a very great neighbor. Like, believe me, if Quebec separated and all the provinces, Quebec make you. So if they separated, I think they would do fantastic. Like this idea that they would do terribly is wrong. But the idea that we would do terribly without them is also wrong. I think like we don't have the same legal structure. There's so much we don't have in common. We should be neighbors. We shouldn't be a partner in this whole endeavor. It's just my belief. So I'm pro separation in that regard. But again, I believe in the free market, right? I believe in the free market, and I think all of these provinces should be able to freely engage with each other. In fact, under our confederation, we have the worst trade amongst the provinces. Trade, I mean, and it's funny because the federal government is trying to work on trade between America and Canada right now, and they can't even deal with trade between the provinces. They're supposed to be the arbiter. They're supposed to be the arbiter to make sure that we could trade freely. But no, there's tons of trade restrictions and all of that stuff. I don't know. What would you call that? A tariff? Yeah, absolutely. Just Me Nicole for 5 says, I'm late. Have you seen the Miller Jolie McGinty interview 2 hours ago? I don't think so. No. Miller Jolie McGinty interview from 2 hours ago. Let me just take those names and put them in Twitter to see if something comes up. That's usually how that works. Get rid of those things. And this is why. That's why you don't share the screen while you're doing a search function. Wow, there's not safe for work stuff on Twitter sometimes. No, I can't. I'm not finding anything. So we'll have to recap that another time. Thanks for the super chat, though. Really appreciate it. Even though you're late, no, sometimes I'm late for my own streams. We're all good. Louis A. King for 5 says, I agree with you, Clyde. I think a lot of people just want justice for the corrupt MPs. That's what we want. And we're not seeing that. And we know that historically people can go too far with that. I would like to see justice served for corruption. I would like to see a just, and I mean it by when I say just. I would like to see them, held to account. I would love to see an RCMP investigation, and then whatever punishment is doled out from, in a very public type of scenario, because the taxpayer that's basically, that would be a civil suit against them by the taxpayer. I would like to see what comes from that. But none of this off with their head stuff. No, I don't really play that game. But yeah, thank you for that. Trish Prue with 6.99 says, I almost spit my Clyde Brew something coffee when you were singing. LOL. Hit that like button, everyone. Okay, so that's something I guess I gotta save for a rainy day. I can't pull that one out every time. No, siree. No, I don't know. I just what even came over me? Whatever came over me. Tell me lies. Tell me sweet little lies was the song. But that's how I felt. It becomes so much. It becomes so much. Brenda Weeb for $2.79. Tariff relief is another slush fund in the making. I hope we can start getting to some stories. I want to get into a lot of this. Love it. We cannot all afford to buy Canadian. No, we can't. We can't. It's unreal. And you know what? The same goes for milk. I mean, I've been saying this for a long time. Why are we spending so much money on milk when we could just import high quality, cheap milk from the United States of America and then tell our milk farmers to go take a hike, do something better. You know, it's very reminiscent of, you know, the turn of the century, not the turn of this last century, the previous one. In the United States, there was a bunch of, I think it was, they were sugarcane farmers in like Louisiana, Florida area. And they were doing poorly because, you know, trade started coming up through the trade routes coming from South America, Central America. And the Central American farmers were just beating the snot out of them on the marketplace. It grows like weeds. They had cheap labor. They just bundled it up, sent it up. It was so cheap and easy. They've been doing it for decades and maybe generations, you know, at that point. And so these farmers, they couldn't compete. So what do? They lobby the government. Can you put a tariff on this sugarcane coming in? And what a world of hurt did it lead to? And this is, it's like the law of unintended consequences. It just keeps coming. It just keeps coming. So what do you get next? You get, there were those kinds of farmers, eh? No, we're talking sugarcane farmers making sugar, and they were sending it up, and they lobbied to have the government put a tariff on the things. Well, guess what? Those farmers in Louisiana and Florida, they went bust anyway. And what did they do? They ended up getting into some other farming. I mean, the land was still good. It was arable soil. It was all good, but they just got into a different product. So once they got into the different product, they were good. But guess what? The tariffs were still there. And then now everybody's paying extra money for this product that they don't need to be paying extra money for. And it just becomes a revenue source for the government. And then, you know, years later, it's like, oh, well, the soda company started using high fructose syrup, and now it's bad for you. I mean, it just keeps going. It just keeps going to the point where New York was going to put on tariffs. Sorry, they were going to put on a tax on soda so that people would be, you know, a punitive tax to make sure that they're healthy. But then why don't they just, you know, you could get sugarcane soda. It would be better for you if we just lift the tariffs. Like, it's ridiculous. Rare Run Alberta with a $2 super chat says, I agree. The NDP Liberal WEF want the tariffs. They're evil. Yes, I think that they want those tariffs. I absolutely think that's it's working out for them in their favor because they're getting to hold on to power. They have an excuse to, at least. Kyle Jester, that is a great name, my man. How you been? I hope you're doing well. Kyle Jester for $10 says, popping in to say, keep up the great work, my man. I'm gonna see you soon. Hopefully. We're waiting on that. We're waiting on that green card. But we'll be down your way, and we're gonna pop in. We're gonna say, hey, my man, I really hope you're doing well. Thanks for popping in, dude. So good to see you. Jocelyn Rose for $2.79. Just with a super. And it was your first super on the live stream. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. No comment, but thank you so much. Yeah, you can give likes on these. That's so cool. I like that. All right, Mark is evil, Mark of evil. Yeah. Let's get into some of this stuff because this stuff has gotten really ridiculous. This was Trump on Truth Social today. Oh man. Oh Canada, he says. Oh Canada. Oh Canada. Oh Canada, what's happening? Man, what is happening? That is crazy. That is crazy that this is a thing. Pre-suck up to the Texans. No, Kyle's my friend. Kyle's a good friend of mine, actually, and we know each other from Japan. He happens to live in Texas. But yeah, that's That's a thing. So not sucking up to nobody. Not China. Well, and that's the thing. So my concern, if you were to pick, I mean, put it out there. If you were to pick, why don't I put a thing in the chat here? Let's how do I do this? Let's make a start a poll. Would you rather be ruled over by America or China? Who is better to influence Canada? Question. USA or China? How did you guys spell that? China. How is that spelled? Oh, I'm looking for it in the chat. Where's that? China. How did you spell it? Ah, I can't find it. There it is. China. Oh, that's how I have it spelled. I'm gonna put it Murica as well. Murica. So this is how it's gonna go. Is it, you want it to be, who do you want influencing, who is better to influence Canada? I'm gonna start this poll, and this is gonna run probably for the rest of the stream here. America or China? I doubt anyone's good. Well, 97%. Okay, somebody did vote China. That's unreal. But you know, you never know. There are bots out there doing the thing, or people just trolling. That's a thing. But dumb question. Yeah, it is a dumb question. We're gonna get dumb answers. How about neither? Really? I mean, America's been influencing Canada for centuries. You know, I mean, and I have no problem with that. I really have no problem with that, but. I like that. Toothless Timmy Gummer. What a name. You guys have some funny names out there. But holy cow, we've got a real situation on our hands because we've got some idiots at the helm. And I'm like special idiots. Real special idiots. Cody E with a $10 super chat says, started putting my savings in Bitcoin, Ethereum. I have made more in the past month than my RSP in the past 4 years. Sad, I can't trust my country's dollar now. No, you can't. No, you can't. Actually, and that's where it gets really bad. Actually, where was it? Kirk Lubermoff here, putting this out there after Trump confirmed the tariffs are coming on February 1st, tomorrow. After that confirmation, bam, that happened to the Canadian dollar. Like, this is not good. This is not good for Canada. And I mean, I don't know how you silver line this, other than knowing that when the Trudeau government is out and when the Liberals are out, when they do leave, they're going to be gone forever. I mean, no one. People did not like the Chrétien years. People did not like the previous Trudeau years, but no one is ever going to forget this stuff. This is never going away. They're tanking the country, and they're trying desperately to hold on to power. And this is why, like, I actually think that there may be a motive behind Trump's moves here, because you know what? Trudeau is not a threat to Trump at all. Trudeau is not a threat to Trump whatsoever, and neither is Carney or any of these World Economic Forum, whatever, these guys. They're no threat to the United States, except being them being influenced under Joe Biden, ruining a lot of things in the United States, which luckily he did by executive order. So Trump was able to get rid of all that stuff day one. It was crazy, but as far as it is, like, the United States is not worried about Canada being a thing. What they're worried about is the influence that's within Canada. And I think that's the problem. I think Canada is basically the Ukraine for China. It's a proxy war against the United States. They're using us in a proxy war. They've been doing it with Mexico. They've been doing it, and I mean, Trump has spoken clearly about that when it comes to Mexico. Mark Corney. He's spoken clearly about it. You know, Mexico, you know, China opening automotive manufacturing plants right in Mexico just to be shipped into the United States to get access to the market is what it is. And so, yeah, Trump isn't worried about Trudeau per se. He's not worried about Freeland per se. They're idiots. They're idiots. What he's worried about is China. That's a big issue. Frankly, China is a big issue. And that's why, I don't know, I have this theory. I have this theory that Trump is actually working to in a roundabout way, regime change Canada. This is a thing. CTR with a $6.99 super chat says, given how the Chinese harassed the Hong Kong protesters back in 2019, the USOA is a no-brainer for me, right? Absolutely. And holy cow, yeah, the people in the people of Hong Kong, man, they put up a good fight, but yeah, they lost. They lost that. China took it. I mean, the British handed it over, but they did not respect the terms of the acquisition. None of it. No, they ruined it. Of course, you know, they've ruined it. It's not what it used to be. It doesn't have, like, people don't trust it anymore. So that's definitely a thing. Now, I put this out there. I said, Trump is about to de-Chinafy Canada. My brother pulled wrenches his whole life. Thanks for being you. Thanks, Prep Rebel Actual. Appreciate that. Big shout out to all my fellow mechanics out there. You should have used blackface Trudeau with a sock in his pants as a thumbnail for inflation video. True inflation. Oh, wow. That's that's the actual, well, that's the fair enough. So I put this out there. Trump is about to de-Chinafy Canada. This is what it's all about. Now, Canada, you know, some people weren't watching, and I'm not diminishing the people who have been following this closely. You may have heard that Canada just had a inquiry into foreign influence in our government and in our elections. And boy, was that a farce, an absolute farce, an embarrassing one at that. Like, not even a good one. You know, first picking his ski buddy, best friend, neighbor to his dad, like, get out of here as the guy. And especially the guy that even Harper appointed to be an ambassador for China, I believe it was. Why is he in there doing this job? That was terrible. If Phoenix Zen with a $5 super chat, no message, but thank you for that. I really appreciate that. You should have tagged Donald Trump with your de-Chinafied tweet. Yeah, I don't think he's paying attention to what people tag him in. But if it goes far enough, if that tweet goes far enough, which it's, yeah, kind of. Holy cow. I didn't even realize 295,000 people have viewed that tweet. That is something else. Okay, so I coined that term, I guess, the de-Chinafy. We need to de-Chinafy Canada. And, you know, Canadians have been trying to do this, and with no success. The way our laws are written, we don't have, I don't think we have a leg to stand on, really, until we get a government in that can write new rules, write new stuff, like the Conservatives coming forward with this idea of a foreign national registry. Why is that offensive to anybody? It shouldn't be. Hiya, Clyde, and Clyde says, hey, Margaret, how are you? this should not be offensive that you have a foreign registry. The United States has a foreign registry. Every country has a foreign registry. You're gonna go to North Korea and expect to not register as a foreign whatever? No, that's not gonna happen. No, now we're obviously not talking about just your average person or people who emigrate to Canada and become Canadian citizens. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about people who are actually with an organization. They need to register, and if it's found out that you're not, then it's like, whoop, okay. Any diplomatic stuff is gone. Goodbye. There's the door at your expense. See you later. Don't come back. Thanks a lot for coming. That's the thing. Rare one Alberta for 5, given a bunch of thumbs ups and a bunch of thumbs downs for different things. What is it? America thumbs up, Cuba North thumbs down, Pierre thumbs up, Castro Jr. thumbs down, Smith up, Zabugs down, Berta Beef up. By the way, talk about the Alberta COVID-19 vaccine report, please. So that's one that I didn't do a ton of research on. So if you want to catch Marty was talking about it on the Marty and Clyde show this week. So you can go check out that video. It dropped on Thursday morning, and he went over that because that was definitely a story to get into. But yeah, from what I understand, Smith put out that it was a scathing review of the institutions and how they dropped the ball, and they were terrible, and they followed what like, I don't know, Tam and Fauci wanted, and Hinshaw, and they didn't follow actual laws and science and all of that other stuff. So yeah, it was a scathing report, and they're pissed. The doctors and all that were pissed. You threw us under the bus. No, you threw us all under the bus. That's what happened, and you deserve to be thrown under something. Jonathan Hodge, I can't read the rest of it. It's ... with a $6.99 super chat. Thank you. Says, Clyde, you should interview Sam Cooper. All your viewers would find his book Willful Blindness fascinating. Well, I'll look into making that happen. Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to look into making that happen. Just Me Nicole for 5 says, Miller, Jolie, and McGuinty's press conference, I think it's just made things worse. They refuse to believe it's about the border. Okay, I got to get into this. But I wanted to finish this thought. So Trump wants to de-Chinafy. Just Me, Nicole, thank you so much. I will get into that. North 49 RC for 5 says Trump wants us to be on the side with him to help our economy and make us stable neighbors. We just need to pull our weight. Yeah, we need to ditch our federal government. How does that look? Does that look like going into an election and getting the conservatives? Because that's clearly what people want right now. But I mean, what does it really look like when these cretins just don't want to let go of power? In fact, even Brian Lilley, he's not a conspiracy theorist whatsoever. Brian Lilley, very mainstream. Like he broke off to work with Rebel News and then was like, maybe not, and went back to the Sun. Like, this is how mainstream this guy is. And he had this to say: this is nuts.
One of the questions I get the most is, when is Canada going into a federal election? Well, the answer is we may not head into one until September 2026. Yeah, you heard that, September 2026. That's the last time that we're able to. The vote has to be held before the 5-year mark of the last vote, which was October 2021. That's the Constitution. Yes, we've got fixed election date laws, but they're not worth the paper they're printed on. They have all kinds of outs for parties to be able to do this. If Mark Carney takes over and becomes Liberal leader and Prime Minister, he could cut a deal with Jagmeet Singh and the NDP and say, we've got a national emergency because of Donald Trump and these tariff threats. We've got to stay in power. They could stick around, not just until the summer, not just until October, but all the way until the fall of 2026. It's all because of our strange government and constitutional system.
Yep, it is very much possible, and it sucks. And this is why I'm saying, this is Brian Lilley saying this. Brian Lilley, He is not a conspiracy theorist. He's not a whack job. He's not a weirdo. He's very mainstream. He's always very streamlined. His takes are always very astute and lucid. You know what I mean? Like he's not even like Andrew Coyne, who is mainstream and has lost his mind. No, Brian Lilly, very lucid, let's say. And this is his opinion. And I don't necessarily disagree with it. This is a possibility. Does it mean this is going to happen? No, but it is a possibility. And I like Brian. Yeah, Brian's great. He's a fantastic guy. Stand up, and you can tell that he really cares about what he does. So, yeah, it is a real possibility. This is the way the Constitution's written in Canada. It doesn't have to be for 5 years. That's the thing. Coins related to Trudeau. What do you expect? Yeah, he is. But he doesn't like Trudeau. It's funny. He doesn't like Trudeau. But his real thing is the Trump derangement syndrome. Wow, Clyde, the problem is government. Wait, what was that? Wow, Clyde, the problem is the government. That is the big problem. Lib or conservative, same stuff, different pile. Now, I would say you were right. When we were talking about the conservatives before, the conservatives have changed a lot, and it's a lot. Andrew Breitbart put this the best way. He said, politics is downstream from culture, and the culture changed a lot during the Freedom Convoy, and so did the Conservative Party. Now, yeah, there's still going to be your, chinos, your conservative and name onlys, but the conservatives that were there last time, no, at that time, no. And the good ones are shining, like Leslyn Lewis, Roman Baber. We see a lot of good guys in the Conservative Party, a lot of fighters, Larry Brock, Michael Barrett. They're great stuff. So I'm excited to see what's going to end up coming down the pipe. So this is a true thing. Andrew for $10 says, come to Ottawa. Great work. Check out Johnny Racing, going for Guinness Book of World Records for longest drum session at Brass Monkey in Ottawa. Well, Andrew, Marty and I, we are going to be going to Ottawa. I think that's going to be the next trip. So plan for us to make that announcement that we're going to be going to Ottawa at one point. I don't know when. I'd like to not go there when it's like minus 40, to be honest, but we'll be making a trip out there. We'll be doing another pub night, and that'll be the thing. So check it out. Again, we're doing this stuff on our dime. Like, we're not doing this to make a buck or anything like that. We want to travel and see the rest of Canada, and we want to meet a bunch of people. These things are fantastic. They're a lot of fun, and I love it. Meeting you guys is so cool. And again, the idea is we're the draw, so people will come out, but then like-minded people will meet each other. And the idea is to spread the ideas that, conservatism, libertarianism, whatever, is mainstream. It's normal. It's what a lot of people think. We can disagree on stuff politically, but no more of this like cancel culture for conservatives. No, we're going to go to open public spaces and say the stuff that we're saying loudly and proudly. That's what we're going to do. Jocelyn Rose, $6.99 says, this is no accident. 150 billion tariffs raked in by the Libs and NDP with tariff war. They can afford to pay Serb and look like election good guys. They won't be able to pay Serb. People won't pay these tariffs. Certain people will, be forced to, and a lot of business will go under. This is the reality. They're never going to live this down. Not when it's this easy. And history's not going to look kindly on them, because history's going to look at the fact that they've ignored all the chances to actually avoid having these tariffs. North 49 RC for 5 says, if anything, this fight the liberal NDP want to play is childish. Like, you just took the ball away from a 6-year-old child. Yeah. They're out to lunch. They're out to lunch with what they're doing. Rare One Alberta for 2 says jug meat is for the workers, remember? Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah, he's for the workers. Franco Terrazano for the win. Maple Dodge for the CTF. Okay, this I gotta share because this is awesome. I actually had this queued up. Franco Terrazano, big fan of this guy. He always point the wrong way. This guy, I've had him on the show a bunch of times. He's fantastic, well spoken, and he's fighting the good fight, right? He's fighting the good fight. He's a fellow follower of the Austrian School of Economics. He's a fantastic bang up dude. He knows his stuff. He is no slouch when it comes to all of this. And he's also with the Canadian Taxpayers Federation, and they've been doing some bang up work. They went in, they sued the government, and guess what? They've already won.
Breaking news! The government is backing away from its capital gains tax hike. Folks, the government says they're now going to delay the capital gains tax hike. They're not going to be taking more money from Canadians this year through their undemocratic, illegal, and economically illiterate capital gains tax hike.
He's right about that.
And folks, the reason the government is backing away from this awful capital gains tax hike is because of you. Because you took action, because you pressured the government, because taxpayers launched a legal challenge against the CRA, taking the CRA to court, telling the CRA do not enforce this illegal and undemocratic capital gains tax hike. And remember, folks, even setting aside the fact that this tax hike is illegal and undemocratic, the capital gains tax hike is a financial sucker punch to Canadians who worked their entire lives to invest in properties, create businesses, and save for their retirements. Now, folks, big news, huge victory for taxpayers. But I want to let you know, number one, thank you. Thank you for pressuring the government. Thank you for getting off the bench. Thank you for saying enough is enough. Thank you for sending taxpayer lawyers after the CRA to get them to stop enforcing this illegal and undemocratic tax hike. But the next thing I want you all to know is that we just got a huge taxpayer victory today with the government backing off the capital gains tax hike, but the fight is not over.
It's not over.
Okay,
no.
So the government won't illegally take billions of dollars from Canadians this year, but now they're saying the capital gains tax hike will still come into effect next year. So we have to keep the pressure on. We have to fight back. The fight will continue. And here's how you can keep with the taxpayer army pushing back against these big taxing, big spending bureaucrats. Head over to taxpayer.com, sign the petition, no capital gains tax hike.
So I just got some news behind the scenes right now. So I got a message from what used to be Cypher, Ryan from Northern Perspective. We had a bet about the election, when the next election was going to be. He said it was going to be, I can't remember when the threshold was. But I won the bet. And it was $100 bet. It was a friendly bet, but it wasn't like $100 to me or to him. It was $100. The loser has to pay $100 to the winner's charity of choice. And so I messaged him back because he said, "Hey, what charity do you want me to send this to?" And I said, "Hell yeah, the CTF." Send that to the Taxpayers Federation, Canadian Taxpayer Federation. And he just told me that they already donated $1,500 from the video they did with him, and they'll tack it on. They're gonna tack that on to that. So I'm glad that it's a friendly bet, but it's gonna go to some good use. That's amazing. So yeah. Thanks for that, Ryan. Appreciate that. And you guys are great. If you're listening at all, maybe you'll catch this clip later. But yeah, Northern Perspective are fantastic. And what would I say? I regrettably won that bet. Regrettably, because I wish they were right. I wished we went into an election by now. But no, we did not go to an election. That was what the bet was about. So that's where we're at. Holy cow. I got a little sidetracked because that was really cool. We're listening incognito. You just put your thing in there. Whatever. Enjoy. I'm glad. And I'm glad you guys are all paying attention to this. By the way, I don't know if I shared this yet. I did share it on the channel. When we did our last meetup, we had a bunch of people come meet up with us. I did some posts on the channel, and I thought this was great. There was a lovely couple that showed up, both wearing Northern Perspective hoodies, and that was awesome. That was so cool. So I love to see it. I love seeing all the support for everybody that's trying their best, do what they can to get the word out, fight the good fight, all of that stuff. So it's one of those things. And oh, that's too funny. Must have been Kurt and Denise. I believe so. So yeah, stoked on that. But where are we at? We're 90%, 91% America. Who's choosing China? Who indeed is choosing China? Where do you want to be influenced from? America or China? But this is where we're at. We're run by absolute idiots. We're actually run by absolute idiots. This is one of the top contenders, in the liberal race to who the hell cares wins. The party that's relegated to third place now. And we're going to be, a conservative government, supermajority with a Bloc Québécois, Bloc Québécois formal opposition. That's where we're going to be. Prep Rebel Actual with a $69.99. Nice. Super chat. Trump is trying to teach the Canadian government a lesson. Just saying. You're absolutely right. And this is why I put the tweet out there. And this has been getting some traction. The Canadian government cannot be trusted investigating itself. This has been shown time and time again. You cannot allow them to investigate themselves. They'll find nothing. And then they'll turn around to the public and say, well, we investigated ourselves. Didn't you see? We looked into it and there was nothing to be found. This is ridiculous. It's been proven with the bogus Emergencies Act inquiry with Rouleau. And then it was now the twice bogus inquiry into foreign interference, first with Johnston and then with Hogue. Johnston had to recuse himself. After how long? He had to recuse himself. It was ridiculous. He was about to give his verdict, by the way, which was going to be, I found nothing. And then he recused himself. And they had to go through it all again with Hogue. And what did she find? You know what? I didn't see anything. Nothing to see here. And nothing to see here. But I think misinformation's a big thing online. I think that's a big issue. That's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So they've proven that they cannot investigate themselves. The RCMP won't do it. CSIS is hogtied because of the way our system is set up. So I think it's time. For Donald Trump to do what, I don't know, maybe Donald Trump has been waiting to do. There is no way that the CIA doesn't know what CSIS knows, if not more, about what's going on in Canada. Do you think the United States of America, the military superpower of the world, has an unguarded border with a country that's been taken over by China and communists, self-proclaiming proud socialists that have an agenda, World Economic Forum board of trustees, sitting on the board? Do you think that all of that's happening and Donald Trump doesn't know what's going on in Canada? You don't think that he knows what's happening? Yes, he allowed them to, take the time, make that decision, come forward with the findings, and then and I think he's looking back, and I really hope this is the case. I hope that Trump will release that information. I mean, if he's going on a serious tour to releasing the information, let's get on with it. Let's see what the United States knows about the inner workings of the Canadian government. I think that would be an interesting revelation for the Canadian people to see. Just an open file, just almost like like the Twitter files, right? Oh, well, we're not going to curate this for you and hand it to you in a press conference, but we're just going to release the information. Here it is. Sift through it, journalists. That's what I'd like to see. So, what do you know? We would like to know what's been happening with the infiltration in the Canadian government, because they're not going to come forward and share it with us. And you know what? I don't even know if I have the faith that when Pierre gets in, I think he's going to want to try to move on. Like, I genuinely think that's what Pierre's MO is going to be. I don't think people are ready to move on, to be honest. People are not ready to move on. People want their pound of flesh. They want to know. They want to know who those, corrupted 11 MPs are. They want to know. And that's the way things are going to go. And there's going to have to be tremendous pressure on Pierre for him to dig into that stuff instead of just, going with the projects that he wants to work on. This is something that Canada needs. This is how we heal as a nation. Rare 1AB, with a $10 super chat, says, Clyde, we're both from Ontario. My wife is from BC, yours from Japan. We came to Alberta to chase the dream. We love it here, but Ottawa has been destroying our dreams, much like yourself. Hi, Ryan and Tanya. There they are. There they are. That's the only way people will believe it. What is it? Is if Pierre puts it out? Is that what you're saying? This is the only way people will believe it? We think it needs to launch. We think he needs to launch a public inquiry of his own. Yeah, but then what? Then the liberal partisans will just be like, saying what we're saying about the Hogue Commission. Like this is the way it's gonna go. If it comes from an independent third party, and like I said, not even from Trump. If he's just like, the CIA that's already been infiltrated for years. So the CIA that's gathered data, it just goes dump in the information. Pfft, here it goes. This is what we know about Canada. I think that's a much better way of going about it. To be honest. Andrew with the $2 super chat says, no liberals equals freedom. Let me think. I'm missing one. Gaetano with the $5 says, I left BC to work in Montana for the Parks Department. There's 11 jaguars living in Arizona. Trump's finally allowing the breeding program of 20 more back to US. Or back to us. Good. What was the hang up? Was it just bureaucracy? Just absolutely just bureaucracy, that thing? CSIS needs to be investigated as well as RCMP. Now, in fairness to the CSIS, they've been the ones leaking this stuff out at high risk to themselves, right? You really take that into consideration. There are a lot of patriots, Canadian patriots, that are just hogtied by our crappy political system right now, that are trying to tell the truth. So I think a lot of the information needs to be rifled through the fine-tooth comb, and I'm not saying that they're all peachy keen. Let's not forget the history of CSIS. I don't know if many people know this, but the Canada's longest standing and largest openly funny mustache people organization, let's just say, maybe not funny mustache, but like, you know, the Supremes, you know what I'm talking about? They were founded by a CSIS informant who was on the payroll the whole time. Throwing that one out there. It's crazy. Agreed on CSIS. Good people. The problem is the structure. They reported to the government and can't do anything, right? So they're doing their job and they're saying what's supposed to be said. Now, that doesn't include the rogue agents that I'm just talking about there. Now, that stuff exists, and that exists everywhere. But yeah, no, CSIS does deserve some credit in this situation, because they were the ones who brought up the whole foreign interference in the first place. We wouldn't even know anything about it if it wasn't for CSIS bringing it to our attention, leaking it to the media because Trudeau knew about it and sat on it. That's a thing. Greetings. Nice. North 49 RC for 5 says, my biggest problem is not the Canada I grew up in, is that this is not the Canada I grew up in, and my child is set up for failure, not success. Now, can you blame me and my wife for making the move? Like that's a serious thing. Brenda Weeb for $6.99. Oh, is that tearing? No. Brenda Weeb for $6.99 says, if we do not get accountability, then the Conservatives are setting the precedent for themselves. Yes. Now, that's the problem. That's the problem. You know, how many times in history has somebody been granted like such tremendous amounts of power and then just hand it over and sign it off and say no one will ever have this power again? You know, like kind of like novels are written about this, you know, the Lord of the Rings, throwing the ring into the pit of fire, right? That's the thing. Not at all, Clyde. I've considered many times myself moving out of Canada. Yeah. I mean, we're in dire straits. We're at a point where we can't afford to live here. Like, we're all the time diving into our savings until we can go, just because of the situation that we got thrust upon us. That's the thing. But yeah, it's crazy. The Conservatives are going to get in, and the hope is that they'll do the right thing. Now, people are fallible. People are put in positions, and then they have power, and they're like, "Oh, my precious." Now, this is where we come in, right? This is where we come in, and we come in with the idea that we're gonna be the lobbyists for the Conservatives to bring us about more liberty and start getting rid of this stuff in government. Let's see some legislation to democratize a lot of the powers that are given to the PMO. Let's take those powers away from the PMO and let's make it more democratic. Let's put it back to the House of Parliament. Let's put it back to the representatives. Let's put stuff to where certain things have to go to referendum. Like, these are the ideas. These are the ideas, right? This is what we're doing. And that's the hope. That's the hope that they do the right job. And when they aren't, we hold their feet to the fire. And when they do something good, we congratulate them. That's where we should be. I'd vote to join America. Yeah, many people would. At this point, people are like, I've been through enough. Why do I have to go through more of this? Why would I have to go through more of this? Why would I willingly put myself through this when options are there? Now, we are run by stupid people. I keep trying to segue to this one. We are run by stupid people. And I really hope that this one sinks in. We're run by stupid people. And the funny part is he says, I hope you don't think this is a stupid question.
Maybe a dumb sounding question, and that is...
There are no dumb questions.
Thank
there are
you.
no dumb questions, just dumb politicians. And they're in no short supply. Let me tell you that.
What does President Trump want? Here we are just a few days away from this February 1st deadline that he's put in place. He's talked a lot about traffic of drugs. He's talked about immigration. Do you have a clear sense of what would have to happen for him to forego putting those tariffs in place?
No, that is not a dumb question at all.
Yeah, it is.
It is an excellent question.
Oh, it's a dumb question.
And
the answer's in the question. The answer is absolutely in the question.
I'm not going to presume to know what President Trump wants.
Why?
I think that is up to him and the very smart people around him to say.
Why would you have to presume what the president is saying when he says it so clearly? Why would you have to presume anything? This is why it's so infuriating to watch this. It's so infuriating day in and day out to see this stuff when it's like, no, he's not beating around the bush. He's not speaking in riddle. He's saying the border is a problem. The border is absolutely a problem, and he wants you to fix the border. If you don't fix the border, then there's gonna be hell to pay. I mean, I gotta pop this one on, because this is Jack Posobiec at the Canadian border.
So this library behind me right here actually straddles the border between the United States and Canada. This behind me is Canada. Here you can see a sign. It says, "Do not enter." That is the border for the entire northern part of Vermont here, between the United States and Canada. I can invade Canada with snowballs right now. Perhaps I will. Trudeau, look out.
What are we doing? This is just nuts. And like, that would be fine if Canada wasn't such a national security risk at the moment. And especially when Donald Trump has declared the criminal cartels to be I can't say the word. It starts with a T, ends with an errorist or something like that. And that he's declared them as an organization for that. They're combatants, and we are housing them. In fact, it's gotten so bad. It's gotten so bad. It really is insane. I'm gonna get to the super chat. Sorry. Rare One Alberta with $5 super chat says, Clyde, I'm a fellow Red Seal and my wife is a pharmacy assistant with a medical background. Any tips on getting us into the US if this all goes south? Apply for jobs is what you should do. There's the H-1B visa program. You both seem like you're skilled, so apply for jobs in the United States and then ask the jobs about going with the H-1B visas. There's a lot of companies that would hire a law firm and fast track it pretty quick and get you guys in there. The hardest part would probably be finding a town where you both find jobs in the same way, but that's the work that you have to put into it. But yeah, H-1B, that's what those visas are for. That's the thing. Marty was talking about it again. That's another topic that he brought up on a show on Thursday morning. Was it Thursday morning? Yeah, Thursday morning. He brought that up. He was talking about how he went. He's been over working in the States a bunch, and that's how they do it. The H-1B visas. Tell him to explore the EB2 NIW Vista. I don't even know what that is. I have no idea what that is. Yeah. So this is how crazy stupid our politicians are. So Chrystia Freeland, who's running to be the leader of the Liberal Party, and by de facto, if she wins, she'll be the Prime Minister of Canada for I don't know how long. Could be until 2026 if they decide to declare an emergency or what have you. This is this is real. This isn't a nightmare. You're not gonna wake up from it. This is what she says. If Trump slaps the 25% tariffs on and she was prime minister, she would start with 100% tariffs on U.S. vehicles.
I would publish a retaliation list. We have huge leverage over the United States because we are their single biggest export market by a long shot.
The end. Sorry. Freeland. Oh, why did I read that as the end? Because it would be. It would be if she was our prime minister. That's where we're at. It's just, it's nuts. And what do we have as like other options in this whole thing? Well, we have Karina Gould. My goodness. I can't believe it. I can't believe this is real life. Canada is not a serious country at all. Canada is not a serious country.
Where do you see the opportunity? I think what Canadians are waiting to hear is what actually is this plan. Saturday's coming fast.
Yeah.
And what
tomorrow.
does that look like? You know, everything on the table. What does everything mean?
Well, everything on the table means that we have to look at where the United States depends on us most, and to say that that is where we are going to have the biggest impact. So whether that is electricity from Ontario, whether it is oil and gas from Alberta.
Would you support turning off the power?
If we have to, then I think that's something that we have to show.
Turning off the power in the middle of winter to people who would freeze to death.
Americans that we are friends, we are allies, we are partners, and we don't want to be in this trade dispute. This is something that is coming from them, but
Not talking about charging more for the power, talking about turning off the power to our neighbors in retaliation to tariffs because they refuse to do the border stuff.
if they do go forward, that Canada will come back very, very strong and demonstrate that they actually do rely on us. We should be so proud of who we are as Canadians and recognize that we offer so much to the Americans and they do depend on us.
I think we're
and
proud.
So we need to do that.
I think we're proud, but we're worried.
Yeah, and that's fair, right? But I think
I'm sorry to all the ladies out there. I'm sorry to all the ladies out there for what I'm about to say. But if you're not willing to do something, especially like a violent thing, like, I don't know, turn off the power to people in the Midwest that would freeze. If you're not willing to do something like that, you don't say it. So you don't step up to somebody and say, like, I'm gonna knock your lights out, unless you're willing to do it, because it won't end well for you. Of course, women don't have this problem, but we're not talking about a situation where you're just going to be looked at like, oh, I know I threatened you, but you're a lady and I'm not gonna go at you. This is reality. This is the real world.
I think at this point in time, actually what we don't need to be is worried, because I know that we are smarter and we are better
smarter.
able to handle this than the Americans. And at the same time, what we also need to do is to make sure that we are protecting Canadian jobs and businesses to weather this storm, so that when we eventually win this trade dispute, which we will, because we are smarter and we are better able and better capable to do this, that we have the jobs and the businesses to come back to.
So I just got to say this. So I put this on the tweet. I said, de-escalation techniques 101. Don't tell the other party that you're better and smarter than them. You know, Americans have TVs, right? They're watching this and they're going, who are these Canadians? You know what? Make it a 50% tariff. Screw them. Like, really? Like, if this is all that the Americans are seeing, is this? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like, these are the people who they're not our leaders, they're our representatives. And judging by the polling numbers, they're not representing anybody. They're not representing anybody. Nobody wants them. But this is the kind of thing that we're getting. And this is the image that we're projecting, not only to the Americans, but to the world. That we're petulant children. Why do you think nobody takes us seriously? Why do you think nobody takes us seriously? It's just absurd to me. It's absolutely absurd. Jackass Whiskeys for $5 says, I have a crush on Danielle Smith. Any Canadian women as smart and as pretty as she is, I would marry. Well, yeah. That's why she's married. Somebody got to that one sooner. No, best of luck to you, my man. But yeah, you got to find yourself a great woman, and the best way to do that is be a great man. That's the best step in the right direction. One WW guy, member for 16 months. Thank you for being a member for 16 months, by the way. That is fantastic. I really appreciate that. No dumb politicians. Skilled globalist operatives working to dismantle Canada, its identity, financial, and security on purpose. We're under attack. I'm willing to humor that idea. Absolutely. Brenda Weeb saying, "I'm a woman. I never make idle threats. They're promises." Love it. Good advice, Clyde. Thank you. What's your question, Mike? Oh, Mike had a question? Wait, did Mike have a question? I didn't see the question in the chat. North 49 RC with $5 says, yeah, Alberta would benefit from separation. You bet. You bet they would. I mean, not having to pay out billions of dollars? Yeah. That would be fantastic. I think the biggest loser in the whole exchange from the balkanization of Canada would be the Maritimes. That would be devastating for them, to be honest. But I mean, we'll all have to grow up and we all have to get kicked out of the nest at some point, right? That's a thing. It can't always be taken care of all the time. It's the analogy of the basement guy, you know? And of course, I don't know how it would look. You know, there would be all kinds of situations because a lot of Maritimers, they go out to the west to work in the oil fields. That's just that's the reality of it. He didn't read my super chat. Justice Duck, I didn't. I missed yours. Just scrolling. I'm not seeing it. I don't know if there's a way to go back and check on them. That's something I got to work on. Because I know when I use StreamYard, I have like a whole list of it. It breaks it up for you. But no, just pop in what you said and I'll read it out. Sorry. I try my best. While also getting on all of these. So yeah, just pop it in there and I'll get on that. Do not notice line 5. What are you talking about? The energy lines that go right into the United States before they come back into Canada? Yeah, this is why this whole thing is so just ludicrous. The point of all of this to threaten the United States. Now, there was a rumor that went out this morning. There's a rumor that went out this morning that, oh no, Trump pushed it off again by another month, and he's given people time. Rare 1AB with $2, Northern Perspective video on Senate reform. Yeah, I'd love to see that. I'd love to see how that's actually even possible. That would be interesting. What is Canada going to do? Blockade trade? What, like they accuse the truckers of doing? Right? Right? Yeah, that would be interesting for sure. So there was a rumor that went around saying that no, it's actually going to be held off. Clyde, you missed mine on you, Marty, Rogan, Nick Fuentes, and beers. I'm trying. I'm not a fan of Nick Fuentes. I'm not gonna lie. Forget that guy. But yeah, for the rest, I'd be keen. Jackass whiskey and pinto beans for $5. The problem with Danielle Smith is that she is married to a Canadian. I'm offering Danielle the the God-fearing man and U.S. citizenship. Yeah, she could have that if she wanted it. I don't think she wants it. So appreciated. I'm sure she totally appreciates it. Bottom line is Clyde ain't going anywhere. USA is coming to Clyde instead. That's too funny. I am looking forward to the warmer weather. Let me be sure about that. Justice Duck, she will be American soon enough. Well, yeah. If America gives Alberta a deal they can't refuse, holy cow. I mean, who would say no to that? Really, who would say no to that? Don't forget, USA citizen have a 99K debt versus a 44K for Canadian. Yeah, and watch the US go down. Watch it. You're talking debt per person, debt per capita. Yeah, it's a thing. That's absolutely a thing. But the problem is the productivity per capita is much lower in Canada. So, I mean, productivity per capita is a big issue when it comes to paying back debts. Because if you have per capita productivity that's much lower, you can't sustain debts like that. It's for real. And then when on top of it, when you have Trump coming in government, and then just look where it goes. Let's just look where that goes, because Doge is cutting deep. Anyway, let's get into this because, again, this rumor started that it's not going to happen tomorrow. It's going to be a month from tomorrow, but that got squashed pretty quick this morning.
Friends at Reuters are reporting that the president has made a decision on the Canada and Mexico tariffs, but that they won't actually be implemented until March 1st. I was wondering if you could confirm that and talk through some of the president's thinking.
I saw that report and it is false. I was just with the president in the Oval Office, and I can confirm that tomorrow, the February 1st deadline that President Trump put into place at a statement several weeks ago continues. The president will be implementing tomorrow a 25% tariffs on Mexico, 25% tariffs on Canada, and a 10% tariff on China for the illegal fentanyl that they have sourced and allowed to distribute into our country, which has killed tens of millions of Americans. These are promises made and promises kept by the president.
The president yesterday said that last night he was planning to discuss whether an exemption would be made on oil imports. Do you have any information on what decision he made there, or will there be exemptions?
So the idea being there is there going to be a carve out because of Danielle Smith, because of the work that she's been doing diplomatically? Will there be a carve out so that Alberta oil won't be touched here?
Is it all offered under this?
I don't have an update or readout for you on the exemptions, but those tariffs will be for public consumption in about 24 hours tomorrow, so you can read them then.
You can read them then. That's when it'll be available. Check it out. We'll see if there's carve-outs for Alberta at the time. We don't know. Angelo Cardoso, member for 12 months. Thank you so much for that. Amazing. If Canada goes to the pooper, I'm learning Spanish now so I can just move to Argentina or El Salvador. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Go where you gotta go. That's a thing. That is a thing. I'd love to learn Spanish just to learn Spanish. I think it's a beautiful language. Rare One AB for 2 says, Trump, please give Alberta an offer we can't refuse. People are leaning this way. This is something like people are genuinely saying, I'm tired of it. I don't want to stick around. I've got one life to live. And I'd love to have the American dream because, I mean, really, is that what we want? This is a growing sentiment across Canada. People are saying, screw it, I want out. Ryan here is describing, what he's describing is the plot of the novel Atlas Shrugged. What if the working age men from Canada were given an invite to Galt's Gulch? If you've read the book, you'll know what Galt's Gulch is. Would they take it and leave Canada to the moochers? So Ayn Rand wrote about the moochers being the socialists in society that basically just take everything from the productive members of society and then dole it out, to themselves and their ilk, their followers. This is the thing. You can learn Spanish through this app called Duolingo. Yeah, I've heard about that. I've heard about was it Rosetta Stone as well? The best way to do it is just immerse yourself in it, and you'll learn. I mean, that's how I learned Japanese. So that's the thing. So here's Ryan Helmsley talking about this. He says, "Hey, real Donald Trump, give us 2 weeks to pack our things, and many of us are gone. We want an alternative to this welfare state. 43% of Canadian males aged 18 to 34 would become American if offered the chance."
Even the 50. My name's Ryan Hemsley, born and raised in Ottawa, Ontario, nation's capital. Spent about 3 years in Calgary. Now I'm in Victoria, BC. I'm not hiding behind an anonymous X profile like everybody who's about to bash me.
I like that.
I believe in the
that line.
51st state. Our country's lost. Trudeau's destroyed it, and we're just picking up the pieces. I only have one life to live, so I would absolutely love to enjoy that life under the American dream, because the Canadian dream died in 2022.
I think you are right, by the way. I don't think that they can specifically tariff a province, just a product. What do you think? I think there could be a way to tariff a province if they really wanted to go that way. But I think what they would do is they would just carve out oil, and that's what they would do. I'm assuming that would be the simplest way of writing the legislation,
in my opinion. Now, if people want to know how badly we would be fucked if...
Okay, enough F-bombs, my man. But I get it. You're doing the thing. JB24 says, as a 40-year-old Canadian patriot, I've never wanted to be anywhere else. I'm at the point where I'm seriously considering moving. That's huge. That is huge. That is massive.
If Donald Trump really tried to destroy this country, all he has to do is one thing. I'll preface it with this. January 16th, Ipsos came out with a poll that 43% of young Canadian males aged 18 to 34, 43% would bail instantly if offered American citizenship, okay? The working class would immediately leave, okay? That started at 10%.
Yeah, affordable homes, castle doctrine, lower taxes, duh. No, it depends on the state you go to, my man. It depends on the state you go to. And yeah. I mean, you don't want to go to New York if you like firearms, for example.
In December, when I spoke to the Free Press about this. Okay, so now we're at 43%. If Donald Trump decided to snap his fingers and say, okay, Canada, you've got 2 weeks, pack your shit, get your driver's license, your birth certificate, and or your passport, and get over here. You know what happens to this country? We're done.
We're done. We would be done. David saying, if Trump exempts oil, could Trudeau do export tax? He's already threatened to do that. He could do that, but that would be the death nail in Confederation right there. So that would be a double tax on oil in Canada. So Canada is already, Alberta already pays this the transfer tax to the other provinces because they're so profitable. Alberta's energy is Alberta's energy. There's no question about that. They brought in this whole transfer payment thing, and it's not good. It's just there to divide people and get people pissed at each other. If Trudeau decides to put an additional tax on Alberta, that would be, I mean, all it would take would be to Trump say, forget the rest of Canada. You want to join us? You want to come in? And then everything goes away. No more transfer payments, no more taxes. Your citizens will be taxed much less. You still get to run all your stuff the way you want to do it. Do it like a state, but now you got the U.S. Constitution. It would be a really, really hard one for people to refuse at that point. So, I mean, not a great move. Not a great move if Trudeau does that.
We're done. It's over because I'm gone. Take me 2 weeks. Take me 2 fucking days. I'm gone. Okay? And there's a lot who are going to agree with me on this, okay? The fact that Donald Trump has not done that shows that he is not trying to destroy Canada. He could do it in 10 seconds. Trudeau's the one who's destroyed Canada, and now it's our fuck around, find out moment. Okay.
Lots of F-bombs. Alberta is ripe to leave Canada and make it a win-win situation. So it would be a win-win for Alberta. It would be a lose-lose for the rest of Canada, honestly. Jevan Jandro, I always wonder if I'm pronouncing that correct. One day we'll meet and you'll tell me I messed it up forever. But it says, what federal governments forget that it is the province's natural resources do belong to the provinces. That's what they forget. They forget this all the time. But this is the mentality of a tyrant, though. You have to understand. And a narcissist also on top of that is they always think that everything is theirs. It's theirs to be had. So that's it. I mean, the concept of liberty is out the window for a lot of these people. You know, the Liberal Party with this close, yeah, fair enough. I'm trying. So the concept of liberty is way out the window when you hear stuff like you hear coming out of the Liberals. Like, I gotta find that one video. There's the one video. It really solidifies it for me. It solidifies it for me for all intents and purposes what the Liberals' outlook on Canadian or on liberty is. This is their.
Well, look, we'll obviously tailor the provisions so that it could withstand a court challenge. You don't have an absolute right to own private property in Canada. It is there are steps that are taken when expropriations happen at whatever level of government, and we'll be sure to stay with.
That is the outlook that they have. This is the outlook that they have in Canada. The Liberals, there's nothing more illiberal than that. Is to look at property ownership as like, oh, that's just an easy hurdle to get around. If we need to just take things, yeah, the Liberals, right? Like the ones that call themselves liberals are the most illiberal bunch out there. It's it's gross. It's really gross. Missing one, am I? Rare One Alberta for 2 says, I'm 40, my wife is 33, we're proud Canucks. FJT. Yeah, FJT. Yeah, communists. Yes, yeah, the communists. They're communists. I mean, what else do you call them? Like, how illiberal is that? You know, just this concept. And we see it in British Columbia. We see this push that they're having. They wanted to, and I don't know how with David Eby getting re-brought in, if this will go through. But they're talking about, I'm blanking on what they actually call the legislation, but it's basically a piece of legislation that turns due process on its head. So basically, if they want to go after you and they say like, oh, we think you got some ill-gotten gains, right, or ill-gotten goods, and they'll go to you and they'll say, that's a nice car you have. How did you get the money for that? Prove to us that it's legitimate. And then it turns the whole onus of, or the burden of proof on its head entirely, because then it's assumed that you have to, you're guilty until proven innocent. Somebody tell me what the name of the name of the law is. I forget what they actually call it, but it's this idea that they can come to you and say, we don't believe that you had the money to buy these things, these assets, and they'll confiscate them. They'll take your property away from you, and then they'll make it so you have to prove. Yeah, it's called theft. Yeah, you're right. Reverse onus. No, there's an actual term that they have. And so the thing that they're saying, the excuse that they're using, is that they're going after narcotics people, and they're going after people who are laundering money. right. Gimme dance. I like gimme dance. No, there's an actual term for the legislation, for the law. It'll come to me. Yeah, all of these are like the method in which they're gonna do it: expropriation, civil forfeiture. But it's I forget the term for them coming to you and putting the onus on you to prove that you got something. Uniparty. China. So anyway, this is what they're trying. These are the laws that they're trying to pass in British Columbia for people to have to prove, because they're going after these people. But what have they shown that they'll do? They'll use this against their political enemies. They'll use this against somebody who's protesting or doing something, some sort of civil disobedience, that kind of thing, and then that's it. In law, it's reverse onus. That's what it is. That's absolutely what it is. I forget the term that they used. It'll come to me, of course, after the stream. That'll be when it'll happen. And you know when it'll be? It'll be when I'm in the Discord having a chat with everybody afterwards. So make sure you're a member of the Discord if you want to come hang out. You don't have to chat if you don't want to. You could just come in and lurk and listen to the conversation at hand when everybody's chatting and hanging out. But that's what we do after these live streams on Fridays. Go hang out. Everybody's having wobbly pops together and doing that. Who is censoring your chat, Clyde? Nobody's censoring my chat. I have moderators. If people are saying something that is rude or something like that, but stop and seizure. But no, YouTube has this thing where certain things they just won't allow, and I have zero, like the automated moderation is turned right off, but yet it still happens. So I don't know. I can't, there's certain things I can't do about. If you put links or something like that, it just won't allow it. Rare one at AB for 5 says, Clyde, do Canadians realize what losing Alberta means versus losing Quebec? Can you please spell it out? Seriously, spell it out. Spit those facts of reality. It means a lot, my man. I don't know how much more I can say. That losing Alberta would be really bad. But here's the thing. I think all the provinces should be their separate entities entirely, and without the federal government. I think Alberta and British Columbia would be great trading partners if they were their own entities entirely. Unexplained wealth orders. That is absolutely what the law is. Thank you very much. That is what it was. The unexplained wealth orders. The chat on your screen is so different from the live chat. Oh, geez. That's probably what it is, because I have it set to top chat. Live chat. Boom. There we go. Is that better? Is that better? It should be the same now. I always forget to do that. So I'm not censoring the chat. It just goes like that. It's a default position that for some reason YouTube sets it to. But that's what that is. 12%. Who is that? For the big guy, you mean? When I click on Discord chat, it tells me the link is expired. So we're gonna have to get a Discord link from the guys in our mod chat. Do we have a Discord link? We don't have a Discord link yet tonight. Oh no. Oh no. I guess I'm gonna have to make one. I'll have to make this one, and then we'll have to delete it afterwards. So we only like to keep the Discord link open during live streams. So that's a thing. So I'm gonna copy that, and I'll put it in the chat. Mods. What? That doesn't work. Just tell me to copy. Hold on a second. Invite people, copy. Did that copy? Hidden, use copy button. What are you doing, Discord? Don't do that to me. I'm using the copy button. It didn't allow me to do it. What a joke. Okay, disable that thing and then invite. Okay, that works. Okay, copy. Mods, here's the new invite for tonight. That'll be the invite for tonight. Use that link, and mods, you can keep cycling that one through as we go for the rest of the stream. But that fixed it, man. Not trying to be a pain, but it seems weird to me. Oh yeah, no, and that's my bad. Like everybody keeps telling me, go switch it to live chat, not top chat. But I have so much preparation and stuff. I forget. So yeah, that's my bad. That's the thing. Got it. Thank you. Awesome. It'd be great to have you in there, Angela. So this is a growing sentiment in Canada that people are saying, forget it. We want out of Canada. Now, I
Sense tariff on
whoa,
China.
Whoa, that just came up out of nowhere. So is this going to keep happening? This was a great I know this is going to get a lot of the guys in the audience excited, but this is a great thread from the Vigilant Fox. Caroline Leavitt has only been in her job for a couple of days, but she's already had some serious zingers already with the press. And right now it still is just the regular old press corps, but apparently they're going to open it up. They're going to open up these White House press briefings to more and more people, and especially to people, online creators, and I believe even virtually. So this might be a thing moving forward, and I'm gonna apply for it. I don't know if I'll get it, but I'm going to apply for it because why not? I'd love to be part of these press briefings if at all possible, because I have questions. I have genuine questions, and I know I have a large audience of people that would love to hear the answers to some of the questions that I have or from this community. So yeah, I'm gonna put my hat in the ring and see if anything comes of it. But you can't say that you didn't make it if you never tried to even run the race in the first place. So I'll put it in there. I'll apply. I'll put my name in there and see where it goes. Rebel News will be in the White House for Canada. Is that correct? Will they actually be there? That's awesome. And it's cool. It's cool that they're open to it. And Trump in his last presidency opened the door to this whole concept, and set the stage for this entirely. I remember I was following Mark Dice. I follow Mark Dice. He's great, by the way. If you don't know who he is, go check out his YouTube channel. He does great breakdowns of a lot of things. I agree with a lot of what he says, not 100% of what he says, but this is how the world works. I'm not vouching for everything that he says by saying that I like his channel, but I do like his channel because a lot of the things he says is fantastic. So he was invited as well to the not to this, but the last go around when Trump was president the first time. He had like a press gala for just online creators, and it was great. The mainstream media mocked it, while it was actually a groundbreaking thing that should be celebrated. It really should be. So the Vigilant Fox put this out there. Caroline Leavitt forces the media to eat their words in brutal White House smackdown. For once, the smug press had to sit down, shut up, and face reality as Leavitt made them look in the mirror. There's some great posts here. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt just delivered her second press briefing after winning over MAGA with her impressive debut. She didn't disappoint, giving the media yet another dose of reality. The press briefing started out with Leavitt announcing yes, and I'm guessing this is the Trump tariffs are going to happen.
I can confirm that tomorrow, the February 1st deadline that President Trump put into place at a statement several weeks ago continues. The president will be implementing tomorrow a 25% tariffs on Mexico, 25% tariffs on Canada, and a 10% tariff on China for the illegal fentanyl that they have sourced and allowed to distribute into our country, which has killed tens of millions of Americans. These are promises made and promises kept by the president.
Absolutely, promises made and promises kept. Average nobody for 279 saying, will refineries and pipelines make Canada great again? Pipelines and refineries would have made the tariffs easier to deal with. Let's just say. So if we had refineries and we had pipelines, things that the Liberals have been shutting down the whole time they've been in office, the Energy East pipeline, the Trans-Pacific pipeline, was it called? The Northern Gateway, all of this would have gotten us in a much better situation in this. The Liberals have only themselves to blame because of this situation. So now they're forced to capitulate. Now, Alberta, for example, has been selling oil at a massive discount for years because we don't have export markets. We're not able to send it out to, if the Americans say we want it at $10 a barrel and the going rate's $15 a barrel, what do? We sell it to them at $10 a barrel. But if we had pipelines going east and west, we could say, you don't want to buy it for $15 a barrel? Fine. European countries want it. Japan wants it. Taiwan wants it. All these places, they want it. So we'll ship it out to them. It makes us richer. It makes us richer to have these things. The government has been impoverishing us at our own expense. It's absolutely ridiculous what's happened. So yes, pipelines and all of that, refineries would make us better off. But we're talking a decade out now. So Vigilant Fox also saying, a moment of glory, Levitt reminded a room full of smug White House reporters that the President Trump's so-called conspiracy theory about the COVID lab leak turned out to be true, as confirmed by the CIA's recent assessment favoring the lab leak theory as the most likely origin. This is great. This is actually absolutely fantastic.
Biden administration had a chance to let the American people know the truth about that, and for some reason, they chose not to. I also would just like to point out that several years ago, when I was working in this press shop and President Trump would take to this podium to brief the American people on COVID-19, he suggested that COVID very well may have came from a lab in Wuhan, China. And many members in this very room mocked him for that, said he was spewing conspiracy theories. He was not. We now know that to be the confirmable truth. It took many years for it to come out, but the president was right in this instance again. Biden administration.
I just love it. And she doesn't mince words. She's just very straight to the point. Holy cow. Professionalism to the nth degree. Oh, wow. Yeah, Levitt was definitely a great choice for a White House press secretary. Holy cow. Brenda Weeb with 699 says, has anyone been watching Europe? You never thought it could happen in Canada. Never thought it could happen in Canada. What's happening in Europe? Europe, has been on fire for some time. It's hard to even think about what's happening over there with all the stuff that's happening here. Yeah, no, I have not been paying attention much to Europe. I'm not going to lie. That's not been on my radar as of late. She's based and beautiful. Yeah, that's oh boy. I hope this is an inspiration to a lot of young ladies out there. I think that should be. Go to your lobster queen, Clyde. What? Is that a Jordan Peterson reference? 10% China, because so much is from China. It sparks the U.S. to go higher. I think that's we're bringing all the bots in. We're bringing all the bots in with the China stuff. But how are we not over 1,000 likes yet on this live stream? Come on, folks. We're almost there. It's 948. Let's get on this like 949. Come on. We can raise that up. Raise up. We have to raise up the likes. Let's get that up. We can do it. I can see it. I can see it happening very, very quickly. 977. Look at that. We're moving up. We're moving up in the right direction, but we're not there yet. We got to get up over 1,000 at least. I mean, that must be easy. Okay, we done it. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Javon Jandrew with a 279 super chat says, "How did he get someone as good as Kayla McEnany?" Or I always pronounce it wrong. McEnany. Am I pronouncing it right? McEnany. She was fantastic. She was absolutely fantastic. But I mean, Kayla's off doing other things now. I bet he asked her, like, hey, would you like to come back and do it? Nah. I got a good gig now. Thank you very much. Good job, Clyde. You did something. Yeah. If only to bring the likes up over the amount of concurrent viewers. Appreciate it. Javon with another one, a 699 one, says, "I already liked it. I can't like it any further." That is true. You're only allowed to like it one time only. But it's great. It's great because look how many people followed through. It's so easy to forget about the like thing. You got to remind people. In fact, I got to start doing it in the videos again. I got to start asking people to like. If you could just make it a habit, when you click on the video, pop it up, you're watching it, just boop. At some point, really would appreciate it. It helps a ton, and it just drives traffic. It does that. Love it. All we got to do is get the oil to Lake Superior, Lakehead, and then down the Seaway. Yeah, that's more expensive. It really is, than just like getting to the open ocean. But no, I get what you're saying. Yeah, just get it to Superior. Knocks for Cup for $2 says, what we doing for 150K, Clyde? I hadn't considered that. Actually, I hadn't considered that. Here's the channel. Where are we sitting at right now? 149,000 subscribers. Holy moly. Look at that. Wow. Holy cow. What's the actual number right now? What would the actual number be currently? Let me there we go. Holy moly, look at that. We're just around the corner. Wow. We're gonna have a party? We're gonna have something? Maybe that's when we make the decision, when we make a trip to Ottawa. I don't know. Perhaps that would be the thing. 150K. Does 150K do something? No. It's when you hit 150, or sorry, you hit 100K, they give you that nice plaque. I had that plaque. I packed it away because most of our stuff is in storage right now. So I made this like makeshift little studio room corner. But that's a thing. If anyone's not subscribed yet and you're watching the live stream right now, hit that subscribe button. Get on that. Pop the numbers up. Oh, somebody just left. Look at that. That's how that works in real time. Wobbly sick. What? Wobbly Kel? I like the name though. Wobbly. It's like the Wobbly Pops, which we do a lot on the channel, which is fantastic. North 49 RC for 5 says, "Clyde, do something. You deserve more likes, buddy." I appreciate that. Thank you very much. We're well over the 1-to-1 ratio on the people watching, because there's 1,000 people currently watching right now, and well over 1,100 likes on the live stream. So you guys are killing it. Holy cow. And you're so generous. Oh my goodness. Like I cannot thank you guys enough. I really can't. What do I even say to that? Oh, there we go. Wobbly celebration. It's just like CELE. I didn't know how to read that. What is a wobbly pop? What is a wobbly pop? It's the kind of pops you drink on a Friday afternoon to make you wobbly. You know? Wobbly pops. That's that's the thing. We even got a t-shirt on the store for it. If you're so inclined. By the way, I wouldn't mind pitching this. Get on over and get some Clyde Brew Something coffee. It is fantastic. It's delicious. We all love it. But on the store, we also have the Wobbly Pops t-shirt. This is great. This is a design we put together just because of the Wobbly Pops thing. We keep talking. And yeah, Wobbly Pops. Go get yourself one. They're delicious. And get yourself a t-shirt to celebrate having your Wobbly Pops. World's largest oral trebuchet. That's how we get around this this thing. Perhaps maybe that's how we get around this. Maybe that's how we save our hides. But yeah, moving on. This lovely lady Levitt, she has been killing it, bringing because it's really the media. The media is the problem, and they have been the problem for so long here in Canada as well. So I mean, we're no different than our friends in the United States. Clyde, are you gonna start a microbrew? Remember to put it on live chat. I stopped watching for a bit because it seemed like you're censoring. I want that tea, LOL. Yes, I'll try. You guys are gonna have to remind me though, because I often forget. It's a thing. So I'm not censoring anything. That's the problem. It looks like that's the problem. Next time I see anybody saying that there might be censoring going on, now I know to turn it to live chat instead of top chat. Are you gonna start a microbrew? No. And oh, let me get to this. I'll tell you why I'm not gonna start a microbrew. I'll tell you why. And it's because of the trade restrictions due to the federal government not doing its job on interprovincial commerce. That's right. There are too many trade restrictions in Canada between provinces. You want to talk about tariffs with the United States and Donald Trump coming in and putting threats, hurling threats, and it being super unfair? Well, how about the unfair treatment of provinces trying to sell goods, or businesses in a province trying to sell goods to another province? Well, I'll tell you what, alcohol is probably the worst. It's absolutely the worst. So yeah, we can sell coffee and we can get away with that. They keep getting away with it. You know, we can do that. But if we tried to sell wobbly pops, holy cow, that is one that is just, we would be unforgiven on that one. No, it's just not a business model that we don't have a good business case for doing that. It's because of the trade restrictions that the federal government is supposed to be the ones as the arbiter between the provinces to stop that activity from happening. But they don't do their job. And look at them. They're not doing their job when it comes to international trade now. Jackass Whiskey says, I apologize for insulting post World War II Canadians, veterans, on the last Discord. Yeah, forgiven. But you know, I'm just not gonna. I won't sit and hear that. That's for sure. Without piping up. Because I've got too much respect for our veterans. That's where we're at. I have more respect for Canadian microbrewers now. Yeah, because it's a harder industry to break into. You have to have your local game dialed, and you're competing against, you know, all the big players, right? That have lobbyists and can do all that stuff. Hold on, where are we? Can someone go to another province and buy booze and bring it back with them? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. But you have to be careful with the quantity, because if you're bringing a whole lot back, then they might nab you for smuggling. And it's funny because that's actually the That's the premise of Smokey and the Bandit. That's do we have to do that? Do me and Marty have to get like a truck and a Trans Am and do a Smokey and the Bandit Canadian style? That'd be funny. Holy cow. For people who don't know the story of the Smokey and the Bandit, it's beyond them. Burt Reynolds, Jerry Reed, they were I can't believe I'm describing Smokey and the Bandit on a live stream right now. So Smokey and the Bandit those were their handles, their before internet handles were a thing. You had CB handles, and they had this. It was a movie with Burt Reynolds and Jerry Reed. And who's the lady in that? It was I forget her name. Somebody in the chat, get me. The lady. She was Forrest Gump's mom. Who was it? Wasn't Jerry Reed's dog named Clyde? Was it? Get out of here. Sally Fields. That's right. So Sally Fields. So because there are going to be people that are listening that don't know the story of Smokey and the Bandit. It's in the song, right? Eastbound and trucking. Was it eastbound and down? Loaded up and trucking. We gotta. There's beer in Texarkana, which is in Louisiana, and the boys are thirsty in Atlanta. And they're trucking beer. They're trucking beer to a thing, right? To an event. And they're breaking laws. They're breaking interstate commerce laws, right? And that's what the whole thing is. They're bandits. So you got Smokey and the Bandit. And the whole idea is that I think Smokey was the cop. That's what they were calling the cop, because Jerry Reed was a snowman in the movie. But the cops are chasing him, and the whole idea is that while Snowman is, I think it was Snowman, Jerry Reed was in the truck. Burt Reynolds is driving around like an idiot in a Trans Am doing donuts and getting the cops' attention and getting the cops to chase him instead of chasing the truck. And that was the whole thing. Clyde, besides your bike, what do you drive? I haven't been riding my bike at all. Lately, I drive a Chevy Malibu. It's just a throwaway car just to get to work. And the wife's got a minivan. We're practical people. I would love to have a toy. That's going to be in the future when we're down in the warmer regions where I could have a garage with a project going on. Coors Light beer? Texarkana is not in Louisiana, is it not? I thought it was. Where's Texarkana? I'm curious, because I always thought it was in Louisiana. I gotta find that. Hold on a sec. Where is it? Where's Texarkana? Is in Texas. Oh no, there's one in Arkansas. Hold on. Well, it's not in Louisiana. It must be the one in Texas that they're talking about. Texas, Arkansas border. Oh, well, that would explain. Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana. Okay, my bad. It's not in Louisiana. It's in Texas. So yeah, there we go. I know I'm better on my geometry now. But Smokey was in the Trans Am. That's right. Building my toy now, a 03 Taco into an ATV. Oh, that's really cool. I like the Tacomas, and of that generation. They're pretty cool. Clyde, what toy will you buy or build? And that's really up to what happens. One thing that I would love to build, and some people will poo-poo this idea, but I don't care. I'd like to have a toy hauler, something with a fifth wheel that I could, hook up. I could get a camper and take the fam out to camping trips. and then also hook up like a trailer for, I don't know, if I wanted to get side-by-sides or dirt bikes, that kind of thing. It would be really cool. So the idea for the vehicle was, I was thinking like an old 90s. Yeah, 90s would probably be the range I'd like to go. I want to say Dodge pickup dually with a Cummins diesel, and then talk to the boys at Edison Motors and get a conversion to make it a electric diesel hybrid. I think it would be killer. I would get really insane mileage on it, and then probably convert it to common rail, like a modern common rail. I just want it with the old look of the boxy style pickup truck. I think that would be fantastic, and like maybe a crew cab, something along those lines. I know a lot of people poo-poo because they're like, electric drive, what are you talking about? No, those diesel electrics are awesome. They're actually really awesome, and they have a lot of torque. But are you sure you're not Texan? No, not yet. Brenda Weeb for $6.99 says, so we have better provincial border controls than our country border controls. Go turd head. He so sucks. No, but the thing is, we have more controls between the provinces than between the board. Yeah, but we have that because the federal government's job is to deal with the border, right? To deal with the Canadian-U.S. border and customs, all of that stuff. Their other job is to make sure that the provinces don't have unfair trade restrictions against each other. And they've, for lack of a better word, shit the bed on both those things. It really a thing. Dale Val, where are you, Clyde? I'm in British Columbia. Devil's Dog for 5 says, you're talking Gen 1 and Debo's Garage is working on a kit. Oh, no way. I've heard of his channel. Yeah, I know his channel. I didn't know he was working on a kit. Those are cool kits. Like, I think they're great. And you're still running a diesel, right? You're still running a diesel. They're tons of power. You have just as much power to the wheels as you would on just direct drive diesel, but the efficiency goes way up because the genset is only so it fires up and it runs the diesel engine at not max RPM, but the most efficient RPM and most efficient torque range and load range. So it knows, like, the computer in the system will know what the optimum torque curve for the engine is. You assign all this stuff, and then when you need power and it needs more electricity, boom, the engine fires up and it runs at op ranges, which means you'll get the most bang for the buck. You get the most power, the most mileage, you'll get the most everything. I think it's fantastic. And for those that poo-poo it, I mean, locomotives have been doing this for a long time. So if you don't think a train's strong, I mean, I'll be running a road train. We got Clyde talking shop now. I'm pretty sure he loves that. I do. I mean, like, I don't want to make a second channel just talking about cars, but I do love cars. The other thing is I love food, tacos forever. Holy cow. I'm a foodie. I absolutely love making and eating food. It's fantastic. So I've got a lot of things those are, like, I think my big things: politics, cars, and food. I mean, you gotta have your vices. Everybody has their thing, right? That's the thing. I like coal emission. Coal, like rolling coal? You mean like diesel? Yeah, sure. I think if I built that truck, I'd want to have a big old stack. And it depends on what I'd end up finding. Because here's the deal: if I ended up finding like an old square body Chevy, because I like those too, I would probably get like a Duramax, like because I know the 6.6 gen probably the best. So I'd get like a 6.6 Duramax and then dual stack it. That would be a lot of fun. I'd probably, yeah. I wonder how it would work to split it, but run dual turbos on a Duramax. That would be a lot of fun. No F series for Clyde? Maybe. I mean the 6.7 common rail, you can't beat that engine. It's great. It's a great engine. I'm not a huge fan of the body styles that they've got, but maybe like if I got an old Ford body and then I got a 6.7 and I put it in the 6.7 common rail. I put a 7.3 in my Fox body. Yeah, they're not as efficient as they are. They're a really good engine. For like the time and stuff. But you're not gonna beat the 6.7. Just when you go common rail, I know a lot of people don't like go common rail because more stuff, but I'm a technician. I have no trouble with all of that stuff. Solar for $6.99 says, I'd love to watch this with everyone. It's 1 minute long. Well, you better not get me in trouble here, Solar. Hold on. Okay, I'll share this. But I'm gonna get nabbed for the audio, so I'm gonna have to fix that later. But we'll get this going because this is great. 12 valve Cummins in a full size Jeep J20. Yeah. I'm more fan of a common rail. More power. Here we go. Just a good old boys. I love it. He puts these together. It's so good. They even got Melania in there. That's funny. Barack Obama. Get out of here. Joe. Cute. Wrestling pot. Oh, the late great. Oh, no way. That's hilarious. Boss Hog is Hillary. Two modern day Robin Hoods. Trump, Vance, making America great again. That is great. Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to get nabbed on the copyright for that, so I'll have to make some adjustments later as soon as the automated system figures that out. Jackass Whiskey and Pinto Beans for 2 says, my dream car, I'm guessing, is a sky blue AMC Gremlin. I love those cars. There was I used to do a bump and run. I think it was somewhere in Essex County. I didn't actually go see this, but my buddies would tell me about it all the time. When you do the bump and run, people would it's a race, a circle or oval track where you have to hit each other to pass. If you don't hit, you can't pass. So most people would drive these old wreckers, right? Because you do the demolition derby afterwards, and it would always be big cars. This guy had an AMC Gremlin that was all beat up, but he was able to just like bump and take off, and he would just win all the time. Funny. And Jevon with another $6.99. Thank you guys. You guys are crazy. What are you doing in BC? You sound like an Albertan. Right? No, I'm an Ontarian. I grew up in Ontario. I grew up in Motor City, right? This is the stuff we used to do all the time. I absolutely love cars. It's the thing. And I haven't really been able to do any car stuff. I mean, I don't have a place where I can do cars. I mean, this is living in British Columbia, where you just don't have accessibility to space, and it really is trying. That's the thing. So I want to leave that, keep that as the note of this live stream. Anyway, I want to encourage everybody, head on over. Tell Doug something about what's up, Clyde. Ford, I said, what's up, Clyde? Okay. So head on over to the Discord. This is where we go for the after stream. Love to hear what you guys have to say. Totally sounds like Windsor. Yep. Love to hang out afterwards. Let's finish this poll for the evening. Who is better at representing? Who would be better to influence Canada, America, or China? I don't know how China even got that many votes with this audience, but the poll completed with 808 votes. America for the win. Absolutely. Yeah, 12%. Really? That high? I can't believe it. Trudeau is something for $2 says, how big is your belt buckle? It's tiny. I'm not even wearing a belt right now. I don't usually like advertise products, but I use a belt called by a company called Arcade, and they have plastic buckles, and they clasp together, and it's you can go through airports with them. They're fantastic. I can't say enough good stuff about them. But yeah, maybe I'll have to get like the big old shiny one when I move down there. That's the thing. North 49 RC with another 5 saying, buddy, seeing Hazard County is such a childhood dream. Right? How cool would that be? That would be really cool. In Texas, you're gonna need big ass belt buckles. Not everyone in Texas wears big ass belt buckles, but yeah, they're a thing. It's a thing. It's absolutely a thing. So anyway, let's do this again next week. Let's all hang out again next week. We do this every Friday religiously. We're the congregation. We hang out every Friday and we talk about all of these things. Here's the thing. I over prepare every time. I always have a lot of things that I'm going to talk about, and then I get to like 3 or 4 of anything. Really, what it is this is a great time to get together with the community. Love it. Love hanging with you guys. And afterwards, I love hearing your voices. So head on over to the Discord. Come chill. Come hang out. We'll have a laugh. We'll have a couple of wobbly pops, and we'll definitely have a good time. That's really what it's all about. Let's have a good time. Let's keep our spirits up as Canada is going through some turbulent times. It is really weird to be a Canadian at the moment right now, and it's probably even weirder to be an American watching Canadians going through this at the moment. Anyway, I'm going to end it on that, everybody. We'll see you Monday. Keep on trekking.